Hi, how are you? My name is Andrés Pimentel. I make documentaries and video essays. This one's a bit of both. I'm still figuring out what I'm doing, to be honest. Today, I have an interesting conversation about creativity. I'm going to be interviewing Judith M. Kerrigan, that's her pen name. She started writing mystery books in her 70s. She was able to create a new career for herself later in life. Thanks so much for being here. Can you introduce yourself?
My name is Judith Mary Rose Kerrigan Ribbons, and I am now 85. I have lived in Wisconsin most of my life, with bits and pieces in other states, Minnesota being one of them. I have lived here almost all of my life. I now live in the countryside west of Green Bay. I've been a mental health counselor for 35 years now. I am also an artist, and I am a writer, and I have done photography, and I have art stuff all around me.
Did you always want to be an artist, or was it something more recent?
I wanted to be an artist when I was 5 and was put promptly in a Catholic school that offered no art. And that was the story of my life until I had 6 children, and the youngest was 4 years old. And then I went back to school and took an art class.
Was therapy and art always the path from the get-go?
I had started college right after high school years ago and majored in science, biology, and the sciences. But science had changed so much that I had to find something else. I studied psychology. I became a counselor. I have a bachelor's degree in developmental psychology, master's degree in expressive art therapies. So using all of the arts with clients.
What do you say to people, young and old, who feel like they aren't creative, or they don't think they're creative, or maybe they are creative but they're in a rut? Can anyone be creative?
The key in there is to give themselves permission inside to do it. And this comes from being an arts therapist. One of the things that we learn to do in my training is to get people started in the most simple possible way, using their right brain along with the left brain. Most people in our culture, I'm talking American culture at this point, are trained in school to be more left brain, logical. It's got to be all categorized. It's got to be all in order. That's a left brain activity. Right brain is the really creative thing, and schools literally do not do well at promoting that, at teaching that. For example, one of the key drawing exercises that an art therapist does is the scribble drawing.
Let's draw and see if we can visualize what Judy's talking about. I have my drawing tablet. I'll switch over to tablet so you can see what I'm doing here.
If you go to school and the teacher wants you to color something, you have to learn to color within the lines. You have to learn to draw the shapes that are on that paper that you're told are the proper shape. And you certainly are not supposed to scribble. That's wrong. One of the first things developmentally is learn scribble. That's what kids do when they first start to create. They scribble with crayons all over the place. Okay, what will happen is that at some point there can be an image. The reason we see these images in scribble drawings is because we have a brain function called eidetic, E-I-D-E-T-I-C, eidetic imagery. That's why we see things in clouds.
What's the bottom line?
Even if you've never done it before, start. Simply start, because it will work. So many times people don't have that confidence or that faith in themselves that they can actually do that. They can. Even people who are more left brain can do that because they can create patterns. Somebody who creates patterns on a computer is certainly creating computer forms of some kind, and it can be turned into art, you know. So I believe anybody can become an artist, but again, you got to believe in yourself. I lost one of my jobs after 13 years in the job. They had to get harsh with their budget, and I was one of the budget cuts. Yes, I had to keep applying for jobs, but I was really bored and decided I'm going to write a book. And that's how I came to write my first book, which is Betrayal by Serpent. I wanted to write a murder mystery or a suspense story type because I have loved reading murder mysteries. And that was the first book, and the second was In Crocodile Waters, and the third is The Jaguar Hunt. I now have a fourth which does not have a name, and I'm in one of those writer's blocks. Once I get things organized here, I will go back to writing.
How would your approach to creativity apply to writing?
It does not matter if you have or have not had training. Training helps. But one of the things I learned as an arts therapist is that you have to start. No matter what training you have or have not had, start. Because if you don't start it, it'll never go on.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Hope you found this educational, inspiring, or at least interesting. I'll leave links to Judy's books below, and I'll see you next week. Sorry this video is a little late. I'm working on a big project, music video, and I'll have more on that in future weeks. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.